Howdy, howdy, everyone. This is Sharon for another Conscious Sharon moment. And so, for this Conscious Sharon moment, what I want to, what we want to talk about is, and before we get started, make sure you like and share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you put on your notifications for these Conscious Sharon moments because these are life hacks. These are things that you can use at home, use at work, make you go, allow you to go deeper within yourself so you can be the best version of yourself so you can show up for you. That's the main thing. The main thing is to be able to show up for you as well as show up for others as well. Others count. So today, what we want to talk about is, or what we will talk about is taking a break. I'm going to say this first. Taking a break is very, very, very important. It's very important no matter what you're working on, whether you're working on yourself, or whether you're helping others work on themselves, whether it's at work and especially at work. And it's kind of twofold. And let's go with work. So for supervisors, managers, CEOs, HR, especially when it comes to these 12-hour shifts, believe me, I've worked them before. One thing I can say is I realize that when it comes to some workplace, other people's lives are at stake. But what I will say is that over time, when someone does not take a break, it's wear and tear on their mind, their body, and their spirit. And so, if you are a supervisor, if you're a manager, if you're a director, if you are a vice president, CEO, whatever it may be, look at and hear when your employees say that they need a break, and especially when they're working 12-hour shifts. 12-hour shifts is it's not sustainable over time, even though people have done it. And I understand maybe some people are just made for it, but over time it's not. I've worked 12-hour shifts. I work day, I work nights, and even with the day shift, still. My whole point in saying all of that, look at your policies to see if it's an alignment of making people well. That's the thing. Because even though you're looking at your policy to make sure you're serving the people who are your customers, but how can you teach them as well? Everything is not tangible and the customer is not always right. And again, like I said, I know at times that people's lives are at stake. And when I say that, meaning people who work in emergency services, who work in the emergency room, and things of that sort. I understand that. But I'm still saying, look at your policy, look at how your workspace is set up. It may need to be set up in a way, again, where people can get a break because that surgeon need to have precise precision and need to be focused. And they go too much, if they're deprived of sleep and don't get any rest, then what? It's on them? Really? Okay. So again, look at your policy. And again, it's not sustainable over time. And even if someone's crashing, that's not sustainable either. So look, so when it comes to the individual, when it comes to yourself, the only thing that I can say is, and I'm not talking about outside of those things, but outside of when it comes to someone else's life, use discernment. That's all I'm going to say about that. But when it comes to your life, make sure you are taking the time to take care of yourself. Make sure you are taking those breaks. If your job allows you to take that 30-minute break, an hour break, and especially those 2 15-minute breaks, take advantage of those things. Believe me, the job is going to be there when you're gone, whether you're gone intentionally on your own or if something was to happen to you. And so, again, you get to decide what's best for you. I know there have been times in which, like in one of my jobs, I was on the telephone, working on the telephone, but sometimes a telephone call can be so much, and I needed a 2-minute breather. And so I tell my coworkers, hey, I need to take a 2-minute breather. And I did. I literally set my watch for 2 minutes, set my timer for 2 minutes and took a break where I could just sit and breathe. And so do what you need to do to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you only have you. And at the end of the day, especially for those of you who have family, your family is dependent on you. Yes, you need that job for the financial support. Your family needs you more for the emotional support to have the financial support. So do not run yourself into the ground where one, either you're just not going to be here, meaning that you die because your body has so much wear and tear on it, or you're just not able to function because of medical conditions because of the wear and tear. So take your breaks, because it helps with your mind, it helps with your body, it helps with your spirit. So take the breaks that you need. And there are times that you even need to take a break from yourself. Again, even though, I'm saying conscious sharing and I talk about healing and taking care of yourself. But again, when I'm saying these things, I'm not saying that 24 hours a day, this is on your mind. I'm saying to be intentional about it, because overall, when we're taking care of ourselves, to a certain extent, you really don't have to think about it. So at times, you may need to take a break from yourself. And also know when you need to take a break, whether it's a temporary break, a long-term break, or a forever break from people, places, and things. You get to decide that. You get to decide that. So take the necessary breaks that you need, because if not, believe me, life will make you take those breaks. And sometimes we don't always want what life has to offer. And when I say that, just meaning that sometimes things come down that you may not be expecting. So take the necessary breaks that you need so that you will not be forced to do that, whether you're at home, whether you're at work. Because remember, wherever you are is where you are. So things really do not happen just because you're at work. Again, we cannot compartmentalize ourselves, because who we are, where we are, is exactly who we are and what we do and what we say. So taking those necessary breaks are very important for you. And so the other thing I want to remind you of is I have a podcast, and the podcast name has changed. And so the podcast is Self Care You Podcast. It's on Anchor. So make sure you tune in. They always drop on Thursdays. So tune in to Self Care You Podcast so that you can learn even more of how you can take care of yourself. So thank you for tuning in to Conscious Sharing Moment.